Democrats have been trying to say Texas is going to be purple for over a decade now. We're going to start here with a clip from actually 12 years ago, and then through the years, kind of walk through Democrats thinking Texas is going to become purple. Hasn't happened yet. Here we go. First clip. This is over 12 years ago.
Also, when can we look for Texas to be a purple state because of the changing demographics? Do you see that in the next 10 years, 20, or 30?
Well, I would say that both parties and that both parties historically probably...
I love how that question is like a statement of fact. I'm going to go ahead about a minute in the clip here because then he kind of gets to the answer that we're looking for.
That's why President Obama is leading 70 to 25 in the polls. But to answer your question about Texas, I believe that within the next 6 to 8 years that what you're going to see is the acceleration of that state into a purple state for two reasons. The growth of the Latino community that is growing faster than any community. It was,
We're well past that now. How's that going in Texas?
Well, nationally, Democrats have been outperforming expectations for midterms. Texas Republicans are maintaining what's now a near three-decade grasp on state offices.
Our Capitol correspondent, Monica.
That clip was 2022, by the way. Now we'll get back to the video back in 2016.
And the big news here in Texas, a new Washington Post poll shows Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are within 1 point of each other in the state. Yes, you heard that right. In fact, we wanted to know what that meant. So let's go in depth and take a look at the map for the upcoming year. The Electoral College is based on population, and Texas has 38 Electoral College votes.
And here's another one from 2016 in Texas.
This crisp autumn day, volunteers with the Democratic Party of Dallas County face a difficult task. They're canvassing a neighborhood that's voted Republican for decades.
This street, you can park somewhere over here.
2 years ago, Democrats didn't even bother to run a state house candidate here because the chances of beating the Republican were so slim.
This district...
How's that working? And here's a CNN segment about Trump having trouble in Texas. This is also 2016.
So a lot of crazy things have happened in this presidential race. But one of the most surprising twists this fall, as we get closer and closer to the election, is that the presidential race in Texas is actually within the single digits between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The reason that's so interesting is because Mitt Romney beat Barack Obama by almost 16 points here.
Let's see what actually happened in 2016 on election night.
Fox can also project that Donald Trump will win the states of Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming.
In Nebraska, one of just two states, along with Maine, that does not use a winner-take-all system of awarding delegates. Fox.
See, they gave Trump Texas there just in passing with other states like Kansas. All that hype. I remember that in 2016. Is Texas going to be purple? It was just a throwaway. Trump won Texas. Let's move on.
So,
you know what Texas Texas is gone.
Texas is gone. Okay. So any talk of like, hey, turning purple, blah, 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 bullshit, gone. Sometimes I can barely hear you guys because in my head.
So early in the night, Texas, gone. Now, Democrats got their hopes up again in 2020. Let's take a look.
While in town today, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said she sees a path to record turnout in 2020 that she believes could turn the Texas House blue. The former First Lady and presidential candidate also took a few jabs at President Trump during a speech today in Houston.
Of course she did. Let's see what happened with that Texas House race in 2020.
State Representative Dade Phelan, a Republican from Beaumont, says he has the votes in Texas to become the next Speaker of the Texas House. His announcement comes as Republicans maintain control of the House. KVU's Molly Oak breaks down what happened overnight in the state elections.
Maybe one of these days, Texas will go purple. Demographics is destiny. One of these times, Democrats are hoping that comes true.
O'Rourke lost his last Senate bid to Ted Cruz, but the editorial board says his run was inspiring and worked to show Texas isn't just a red state. If O'Rourke were to drop out and seek the Senate seat, he'd be up against John Cornyn, who is seeking his fourth term. The board says it wouldn't be easy and, quote, you'd have to fight for it and do it better than you did against Cruz, but a lot has changed since 2018. You had a lot to do with that. And Trump is no longer rock solid in Texas, and neither are the Republicans who support him.
And with that...
Oh, really?
The state of Texas has gone to Donald Trump. 38 electoral votes out of the Lone Star State. There was a time when this would have been an obvious, and it would have come immediately. Not tonight. In Texas, there was a lot of work done by Democrats on the southern tier of the state, right along the Rio Grande Valley.
This is 2020, by the way.
Texas becomes bluer each, or more purple, or however you want to put it. The demographics in Texas are changing. Tonight, the victory goes to Donald Trump and 30 electoral votes from the state of Texas.
Moving on, though, I mean, the way they're talking there, it's like going to be in jeopardy next time. I wonder what happened in 2024. I mean, we all know that, but let's take a look anyway for fun. Okay, now these clips are about the 2024 race.
In Texas, Colin Allred and Ted Cruz are virtually tied, spurring a surge of money from national Democrats.
And some of the most progressive figures in the country are campaigning here. They see real opportunity in Texas, but is that fight worth it in a state that's been reliably red for over 2 decades? Our Ryan Chandler sat down with Senator Bernie Sanders in Austin.
Progressive lawmakers rallying in red Texas. What do you say to that? Why are you in Texas?
We don't think Texas is quite so red. We think Texas has huge potential to become a more progressive state.
Over the last 3 presidential elections, Democrats have cut their margins in Texas.
Man, there's a lot of clips of Democrats wanting Texas to be blue or purple. This is really funny. I mean, I'm biased. It's my video. This is funny to hear all these, it's blue, it's purple, blah, blah, blah.
And that was pretty consistent with all of the voters that we talked to today. And that Senate race in particular is drawing a lot of attention. For a long time, Democrats have felt that they could turn Texas blue. They're not really competing at the presidential level here, but there have been tens of millions of dollars that have flooded into the state as part of this competitive Senate race, including an injection of cash from the Senate Majority PAC, which is a Democratic-leaning super PAC that's going to throw multi-million dollars in.
How did that go? All that money for Colin Allred versus Ted Cruz. What happened?
Fox News Decision Desk can now project that Texas Senator Ted Cruz will have a third term, and he has defeated Democratic Congressman, former NFL player Colin Allred. There was some movement in this race. It tightened a little bit, and there was some discussion that maybe Ted Cruz might lose his seat, but he has handily.
Do you know how much money they put into that race?
Yeah.
Democrats poured a ton of money into that race. Colin Allred was a good candidate.
Absolutely, good debater.
Minus being in Texas, I mean, he was really a really good Democratic candidate. As you look at the balance of power, 47 to 37.
By the way, I've always liked Ted Cruz. I think he's a good politician. I would even say at this moment, he might be a little underrated. He was in the spotlight in 2016 because he's running against Trump, but Ted Cruz, I would say, one of the better politicians in my opinion. Okay, before we get to the finale of what happened with Trump in Texas in 2024, unless you're living under a complete rock, you'll know the answer. But as a bonus, the 2022 governor race, again, Democrats thought Texas could turn blue.
Democrats were hoping this year would be the one that they turned Texas into a purple state, but GOP victories across the state further cemented the party's 28-year grasp. Governor Greg Abbott took to Twitter on Tuesday, writing, quote, "Tonight Texans sent a message that they want to keep the Lone Star State the beacon of opportunity."
Okay, 2024 presidential race, still some people were holding out hope that Texas would be competitive.
More likely to be the state that actually decides the election. However, even if it's not a swing state per se, one state that's arguably flown under the political radar is the Lone Star State of Texas. For most of recent history, Texas has been considered a flagship state for American conservatism. It voted heavily for Ronald Reagan, and both.
It should be flying under the radar.
Fox News can project that former President Trump will win Texas. That locks 40 more electoral votes into his column. Former president also has a lead in Iowa. There's no call at the top of the...
And again, it's just a throwaway state. There's no drama. Just Donald Trump won Texas. Now let's move on to the next state. Again, these clips, like Democrats, it's going to be purple. It's going to be blue. It's like the Charlie Brown not able to kick the football. One of these years, Democrats, 2026, 2028, one of these times, just keep trying, keep pouring money in. I don't know. And okay, final clip in this video, and it's kind of about the whole demographics is destiny argument. It doesn't exactly probably track with that, but it does show how in Texas, Republicans are dominating. It's not going blue. It's just going more red. Check it out.
Into our Austin newsroom, Republicans made major progress in South Texas this year, winning most of the border region for the first time in decades. Starr County, for one, flipped red for the first time in 128 years. Donald Trump won 14 of the 18 counties along the border in a shift that Senator Ted Cruz called a generational change. It comes after years of investment from Republican groups to gain ground in the historically Democratic stronghold. Is it an anomaly, or will the trend stick?
Take a couple more cycles.
Pretty incredible. Yeah, like along the Texas border, Trump did amazing, and especially relative to years past. But anyway, with that said, hope you enjoyed that video. Texas going blue, Texas going purple. Keep trying, Democrats. It's funny to watch. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.